folks, and welcome back to yet another Brickgrid Blender beginner class. And we're going to carry on today making our tree. Now, if you remember rightly, last time I did manage to mess up the materials on my tree, so let's try and go over that again and make it a little bit simpler if we can. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go first of all to the UV editor. No, I'm not. I'm lying. I'm going to go back to properties. I'm just going to add in a material. So new material, call it new. I'm going to call it tree bark. Tree bark. I'm leaving the settings basically as they are there. We don't need to fiddle about with that. I am going to unwrap this. So go into edit mode. Actually, we probably want to decimate that first. As you can see from the tree, it's a bit meshy. So I guess before we make a UV map, we'll use a modifier on it. We will use a decimate modifier. And if you look at the branches, you can see that there's kind of far too many verts in there. So I'm going to set the ratio to 0.1, like that, 0.1, and we'll need to do that in object mode, probably, to see that have any effect. There you go. You can see that that's reduced the number of faces considerably. So we can just apply that. So we can say apply. Job done. So back into solid mode. We'll go back to kind of textured mode. So let's have a look at how we're going to unwrap this now. So we'll go into edit mode. We'll press U for UV unwrap. I'm just going to go Smart UV Project. I'm set to 66 degrees, 0 island margin, 0 area weight. I could say scale to bounds, but I'm not going to bother, and I'm just going to say OK. So let's have a look and see what that's done on our UV map. So if we select all our verts, we should be able to see that they're now unwrapped. Okay, let's swap back to properties. By the way, I forgot to say I've got a stinking cold and cough, so if I start coughing, please do excuse me. It's not really something I can kind of easily help at the moment, but so you'll have to bear with me. Right, so we've unwrapped our tree, slimmed it down a bit. So let's set about going into the shader editor and making it look nice. I'll just open that up a bit. I'm going to swap to the shader editor, and as you can see, we should have a shader in there somewhere. Maybe we haven't. Hold on a minute. Let's go back to properties. Let's assign that. Okay. So we should. Just going to check a few things here. Okay, we've got use nodes, that's fine. So back to the shader editor. I cannot see anything, probably because we're set to world. We don't want to be set to world, we want to be set to object. So now we can see our tree bark texture. you'll need to have Node Wrangler enabled. So if you go to Preferences, go to Add-ons, and then in Search look for Node. You can see you put a tick in Node Wrangler, and then you go down here and you click on the Save button. So I've got my Node Wrangler enabled. So if we click on top of the principled BSDF and we type Control and then T, that adds in a nice mapped image texture for us. All we've got to do is find the texture. So I'm going to open the texture, which is in my downloads folder in tree textures, and I've got a 1K 8 diffuse JPEG 001. I think that is the bark diffuse texture. So we'll say open that image. I'm actually going to duplicate this one. Shift E. Whoops, don't know where that went. It's down there. There it is. I'm going to change it to non-color. Get rid of the texture that's already in there, and I'm going to add in, I'm going to search for a normal map, which is that one. You can stick that one in there, color into color, and then normal into normal, and I'm going to click on open. I'm going to go back to my downloads into my tree textures, and I'm going to look for the bark normal, which is that one there. So that's done the normal map. And it'd be nice to have a specular map in there as well. So we can Shift D this. I'll stick that there. Get rid of that. We can say open. Go back to my downloads and my tree textures. And we'll go specular. And say open image. And we can put, that's now color. RGB, I think it's what it defaults to, and we can put color into roughness. We can change specular down, clear cloak brightness down. Let's see what we're looking at there. Okay, well that's not too bad, but it's a bit big. Texture's a bit big. So what we can do is we can go up here to our scale, and we can put in, let's try 0.1, and we'll try 0.1 on the X, Y and Z. Let's see what that looks like. That looks pretty horrible. So let's go the other way. UV, back to point, let's go texture. Okay. That's not too bad. Let's try it. Let's try 0.01. Okay, 0.01 looks like it might be a bit too fine, but we'll try it. 0.01 and 0.01. Yeah, I think that maybe is. We could try 0.5. Actually, my last unwrap looks a bit better than that. But there we are, beggars can't be choosers. I'm not going to fanny around with it too much. As long as we've got something that's vaguely tree-like. Maybe there's a happy medium in there somewhere. Maybe we'd be better off with 0.3. Let's try it. .3. Yep, that's not too bad. I'm happy to. It looks like a gnarly old tree, so that's fine by me. Perfect. So let's go back to properties. There we go. Now what should we do? Well, we've kind of put a material, or UV unwrapped our tree. We'll need to make some twigs and leaves to go on our tree. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move that tree out of the way for a minute. Just move it to the side. So I'm going to add in a plane, and I'm going to give it a new material. I don't know if that gave it a new material. I think it did. So we'll call this material leaf. We're going to make a leaf. And yep, actually I guess we should be doing it from this side. I think we've moved that tree into the wrong place there. I think I might just hide that tree. I'm just going to press H and hide the tree. I'm going to rename our plane leaf so we don't get confused. So what do we want to do with our leaf? Well, we will want it to have a material on it, a texture on it rather. So we can go to the shader editor. We can click on our principled BSDF. We can say Control T, which has opened up a new mapping window. Sorry, new mapping nodes, set to UV, which is fine. We'll just open up our leaf texture. So I've got an oak leaf front, where is it? Base color, that one. Oak leaf 1K front base color. So we'll have that. Perfect. So it's a bit shiny, so I'll take the shine down, put the roughness up, take the screen tint down. So you can see that we've got our leaf. You can probably just make that out. It's not perfectly in the right, aligned along the right axis, but we'll worry about that in a minute. I'm going to duplicate this texture, Shift D. Just going to get rid of what we've got in there at the moment and go open again. This time we want to look in our downloads in our tree textures for the front opacity, which is oak leaf 1K front opacity. Open image, and this is the alpha, so we'll stick it into the alpha, and you can see it's done nothing, but that's fine. We're only doing this for our benefit whilst we're working in Eevee. It won't really make any difference in world because it's a PNG, so it should work out fine. So what we want to do is we want to add in a transparent BSDF. I'm just searching for these, and we want to add in a mix shader. So we look for mix shader. There we go. What we should do is we should get the transparent bit, stick it in the bottom, the principled BSDF, stick it in the top, join it in. Doesn't look any different because we will actually need, let's put the factor right down to 0. What we need to do is go back into the properties, and then in this section, in the material, under the settings, we need to set this one to alpha blend, and the next one to alpha hashed, I believe. And that might, with a bit of luck, give us what we want. Let's go back to the shader editor. If it doesn't work, we can always play with this. Let's play with the factor. Okay, it's not that bit. Let's try the alpha. Let's try taking the alpha. Let's take this colour and stick it in as a factor. Okay, that's the wrong way round. So let's try that again. Let's try swapping these round. Let's stick that in there, that in there. Let's try taking the alpha and sticking it in to the factor. Not quite right. Not quite right. Alright, let's stick it back into the alpha. Let's try sticking in the colour back into factor. Ah, that's more like it. There we go. Sorry about that. So now we've got our leaf. And a very lovely leaf it is too. What I'm going to do with this is I'm going to cut it up into, not going to cut it up, I'm going to just put a couple of loop cuts in it that way. Same thing this way. Press enter on that to accept. So now I'm going to start raising up some of these points. So we'll raise those up a bit. We'll raise these up a bit. Doesn't matter if it goes up a bit wonky. Are we set to global? No, we're not. We'll set to global. So we can maybe move those up a little bit. Maybe move these up a little bit. I'm trying to just get a little bit of curve on the leaf. Just so it doesn't look so flat. Maybe we'll take these down a little bit. We don't want to go overboard. We just want to give something that gives a nice curved appearance. And then we will shade smooth that. So shade smooth, done. Let's just have a look at the way our face is organised. Face orientation. Yep, so that's lovely. Nice and blue there. Red bit on the back, which obviously won't be seen in world. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all the points, and I'm going to shift it, and I'm just going to tweak it down a tiny little bit just so it's away from the other one, and then I'm going to go mesh, normals, flip, and if we take off our overlay, go back to that one, you should see that we've got, you probably can't see it on that side because there's no light shining on it, but there should be a, you know, a thingy, a leaf on there too. So what we can do is we can set, I'm just going to select these two lines here, and probably want to set the cursor, the 3D cursor, to that point, roughly about that point. So we can do mesh, snap, cursor to selected, and then we can do in object mode, object, set origin to 3D cursor, and in fact I want to change that. I want to change where that origin is, so I guess I could right click, Left click? No. Right click? Left click? No. Okay, let's not worry about it. It still looks... It doesn't look very well. Doesn't look like smooth shading on that. Edit mode. Face shade smooth. That looks a bit better. Right. So we've got our leaf. Looking good. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to hide that. I think we've done with that for just for a minute. Now what we can do is we can go back to view, say align view, center cursor and frame all. Not that we've got anything there. Don't know what that little thingy is. Maybe it's our leaf, which I've hidden. Okay, I'm going to hide it again and hide it from the rendering for the time being. Let's go back into properties. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to make sorry, I just heard something messing around. I think it's one of the pussycats. I'm just going to make a twig. So we can go back to object mode. Make sure we've got nothing selected, which we shouldn't have. We will say add mesh plane. Go into edit mode. We'll do mesh merge at center, which merges all the vertices to the center. I'm going to select that vertex. I'm going to go to the top view, assuming I can find it. Don't know where my lines have gone now. Over there. Okay. So I'm just going to make something that's vaguely like a twig. So we can start extruding this. Do a long one first, then a slightly shorter one, then maybe branch off into three areas. It's not very easy to see on my screen, is it? I'm just wondering if I went into the world properties. Let me just, there we go. Okay, that's a bit better. You can see a little bit better what we're doing now. Sorry about that. So, yep, so we're just making some twiggy type shapes here. Doesn't have to be brilliant, just something that kind of gets the idea. So, just tweak about with it a bit. You can fiddle around with these if you think it's looking a bit funny. We'll have one extrusion over here, maybe one over here, that one there, that one there. Oops, didn't want to do that. That one there. Move that one a bit. So I'm just trying to give the appearance of what a branch might look like. Okay, I'm not unhappy with that. So I'm going to press my I'm going to press my 4-point key. And what I want to do with this is I want to I'm going to select my proportional editing tool. I'm going to set it to everything. I'm gonna select some of these, not that one. So select some of these. Gonna press G. Okay, that's a bit big. Maybe something like that. I'm just gonna move this up a bit. Okay, that's kind of a weird thing. Let's try an inverse square. I don't like that either. Let's try spherical. Okay, it's kind of going the wrong way. Well, it doesn't matter. So what we can do is we can select all of these. We can select this point here. If that can be the active, let's take that off. Get off. That point there, we can just rotate that up a bit. Oh, we've left a couple. Never mind. So we can just move them up. Move them up, roughly speaking. Move that one down a little bit. That one up a little bit. And maybe that one up. And maybe that one down a little bit. Cool. So now what we want to do is we want to tweak up some of these verts here. We've got two verts very close together there. Don't quite know what that vert's doing. Okay, we'll move him out there like that. So what we can do is we can select some of these. Just want to move them up a bit. So proportional editing. We'll select G. We'll set our size down a bit. Maybe something like that. Just move them up. Okay. So turn that off now. So we're just trying to give it the appearance of a bit of form. Great. Okay, so I think we've done that. So we've got the basis of our twig. So into object mode. We're basically going to do exactly. I'm going to rotate that actually, because I want to rotate it a little bit. Just move it down a little bit, something like that. Right, I'm going to go into. I don't want to go to world. I don't know why that's there. Probably because I was on the world parameters. So let's have a look at adding some modifiers. So let's add a skin modifier. We'll do it in edit mode. We'll turn on wireframe. X-ray, we'll select everything. And we'll do Control and A and scale it down so that we've got something resembling a branch. Then if we go to sharp fall off, we'll select these, all the kind of endpoints, and turn on proportional editing. Maybe we could try linear, might work nicely. Set G, that doesn't look too bad. So Control A, scale these down a bit. Actually, let's open up the. Not too bad. Maybe scale that one down a little bit. Control A. Cool. So we've skinned it. Let's add in a subsurf. So we'll go to subdivision surface, set it to 2. Okay, I don't think that's. Oh, set it to 2. Okay, that's not too bad. Let's go to our materials. We can just assign the tree bark material to it. let's have a look and see how that looks. Mind you, we've not UV unwrapped it, have we? Guess we could UV unwrap it, couldn't we? Can we do that? So let's go to our UV editor window. We'll find our bark diffuse texture. We'll go, yeah, we can't unwrap that, we need to be in edit mode. So, the reason why we can't unwrap it is because we need to apply those modifiers. So, let's copy this, Shift D, stick it over there, hide it. Go back to this one, into the properties, into the modifier stack, and we're just going to apply our subdivision surface. Maybe not. Maybe I'll apply it top to bottom. So apply the skin first, then apply the subdivision surface. Looks a bit better. So let's go back to our UV editor. We'll make sure we're in edit mode. Select everything. Go U. Smart UV project. Just say OK. And let's see what that looks like. Yeah, that's okay. So let's go back to our properties window. And what we need to do now is we're going to paint. We're going to paint a vertex group. So we're going to, with it selected, we can probably do that in edit mode. Everything's selected. Actually, that's a bit meshy, isn't it? We could put a subsurf modifier on that. Not a subsurf, not a displace, decimate. Let's put a decimate modifier on it. Let's take that down a bit. We need to do that in object mode to see what we're doing. Let's try setting it at, oh, we could get away quite low there. We could get away with 0.1. Yeah, let's do that. So let's apply that. So we've slimmed it down a bit. Okay, now we're going to go into weight paint. If you turn on wireframe and X-ray mode, so we can go to the top of the view. I've got my weight set to 1, and you can see where my radius is, so I'm basically just going to paint. I want to get most of these branches as red, so something like that, and it should be painting right the way through. So let's just pop it over, turn it over. Yeah, that's not too bad. So you can see we've got, I don't mind getting a few leaves down here as well if we have to. Okay, so we've weight painted that now, and that will just be called group. So let's rename it and say leaf density. Leaf density is fine. Shows where we're going to put our leaves in a minute. Okay, so add a weight point. We can unhide our leaf, and you can see it's a crackingly big leaf. So what we need to do, all our branch is very small, doesn't really matter which. What we can do is scale this leaf down, so we can just move the leaf so it's about right. Scale it down, S to scale, shrink it way down till it's about the right size to start appearing on our twig. And I'm just going to try and keep it so it probably needs to be rotated. Rotate on Z. Just going to hold down on control because it needs to be 95, 90, something like that. Okay. And that still doesn't seem to be in line, so let's do that. Pretty sure that's in roughly the right place now. Okay, so we're going to add a particle system to our twig. So we select the twig, we click on this little thing here for particle properties, and we say plus, new particle system, and we're going to put it on a hair, and then tick advanced. We're going to put it to 1 meter and have 2 segments. We'll emit from the vertices. We'll have rotation, normal tangent. We'll randomize it just a little bit. Render as an object. So we can select our dropper on the instance object and select our leaf. Then for scale, we can bump up the scale. Whoa, we've got too many leaves there. So let's set it to 100. Emit from vertices. Maybe we've not got enough vertices in there. Faces might be better. Along the normal. Okay, that doesn't look too bad. Maybe we could bump up the... we need to use our density map, don't we? So we need to scroll down here and under vertex group, select leaf density. Select object rotation. I think we need to make the scale a bit bigger. Velocity here, normal, randomize phase. We could randomize the phase a bit. How are we looking there? Do those leaves look roughly right? Doesn't look too bad, does it? They could maybe be a little bit bigger, and the scale randomness could be set a little bit. Maybe we could have a few more of them. Maybe have 300. We won't be using these actually on our tree. That looks great to me. So I'm just going to hide that leaf. Now what I want to do is I want to go into probably one of these settings under film and select transparent. That didn't work. Okay, that's a shame it didn't work. I need to figure out what we need to do to get that to work in a second. What do we need to do to get that to work? Don't know about that. I thought by going for transparent we could get away with that. Maybe we can't. Is it a setting in the world? Not down there, it won't be. Viewport display. That's going to bug me now. I've got to think about that. Oh, that's going to annoy me. That's so going to annoy me. Because we need to render that. Can we actually move it without things falling apart? I think we can. Let's have a look in our camera anyway. Let's see what our camera is doing. So I'm just going to go to the item and I'm going to zero out all these location, rotation thingamajiggers. And oh, well, actually we can keep that as one, that's going to mess things up otherwise. Rotation we can set to 0. Perfect. And I'm going to go to my dimensions and set to, for rendering, 1024. And make sure that it's at 100%, which it is. So let's go to 3D view. And we'll go to, is that the 3D view? I guess it is. Let's just raise that up a bit. Whoa. Okay. That doesn't look very central to me. Let's go camera view, camera, active camera. Okay. That's not bad. We can afford to zoom down a little bit. I want to get as much of this in as I can. So, oops, roughly in the middle. And just need to sort out top to bottom, which is in fact left to right. Okay. So, yeah, we've got that, that's fine. And in fact it's rendering as it should, it's rendering with the transparent background. I might go to scene lights and scene world, or rather no scene lighting, no scene world, and put the strength up. Is that going to work? Nah, it's not going to work. Okay, it's probably because we're not doing it via rendered view. Never mind. I guess we could fake it by just copying the light source. Shift D, stick it over there. Rotate it on Z. Boop, like that. Okay. Just don't want to have too many of those leaves. Maybe duplicate it again. Shift D. Over here somewhere. Rotate it on Z. Just move it around so it's pointing over there. Okay, some of those lights might be a bit too strong now. So we could go to properties, go into the light. That's set at 3, so let's make each one of those 2. That one, and you can notice I've got a little bit of yellow in the light as well, just to give it the kind of impression of sunlight. Let's have a look what that looks like from our 3D viewpoint. Yeah, I'm not unhappy with that. So we can just render that out. So render image. So there we've got our leaf. So we can save that. Image. Save as. I'm going to go into my downloads, into my tree textures, and I'm going to call it twig and leaves. (16) red, green, blue, alpha, no compression. Save as image. Done. Let's go back to properties. we're pretty much done. Don't think we'll need the camera anymore. Let's hide the camera. Not sure we'll need those lights either. Maybe we will. Doesn't really matter. We won't need that twig, so we can hide that. Perfect. What we will do is we will unhide our leaf. There it is. We'll just duplicate it. Shift D. Perfect. Let's hide that one again. Let's make this one, I'm going to rename it to twig and leaves. If I haven't got my caps lock key on. PES. Scale it up a bit. Maybe a bit more. Going to go into the shader editor. We're gonna delete those two. So we're gonna go open, downloads, pre-textures. We'll do twig and leaves, and we'll do the same thing again. And okay. The only problem is the texture is not quite right, and it's a bit blurry. We don't really need to worry about that. We could take the factor out of there. That's a bit better. Great. Okay. So let's go to the UV editor. Let's open our twig and leaves. Let's go to a top view. Let's go into edit mode. Whoa, what happened there? Okay, let's go to object mode. It's probably because we've not applied the scale and transforms. So apply all transforms. Let's go into edit mode. Oh no, it's gone again. It's been and gone, it has. Why is it gone? Okay, I'm not quite sure what. Okay, don't know what was going on there. Edit mode? Yeah, that's weird, isn't it? Okay. Something very odd going on there. Let's try and figure that out then, shall we? Why is that disappearing when we go into edit mode? It's shown. Ah, there we go. Okay, don't know what that was. I clicked on something there. Edit mode. No, still not working. Okay. Don't know why that's. Don't know why that's not working. Never mind. It's telling me. Telling me one object of 4. I suppose we've got 3 lights in the scene, haven't we? Must be something to do with the shading, I would have thought. Let's go into the shader editor a minute. I think we might have those the wrong way round. Oh, no, that needs to go in there. Do we need the alpha? We do. Okay. Okay, well I really don't know why that's doing that. That is very strange. Could be something to do with the texture, of course. The material shader. Let's have a look at the properties on that. Let's make it single user. Boo, alpha blend, alpha hash, that shows show back face. Do we want that? Probably not. That's just so weird. What is the overlay showing us? Saying it's good. I'm not sure we can get around this. We can try it, but as soon as we go into edit mode, can we say you follow active quads, project from view bounds? That's probably what we want to do. Let's go into the UV editor. Don't know why that won't let us select the damn thing. Let's see what filters we've got on. Okay, twig and leaves. Disabling renders. Don't want that. Okay. That's terribly interesting. Terribly interesting. We could try doing it in the shader, I suppose. We could try rotating it. What would we want to rotate it on? Maybe the Z minus 90? I don't know, has that done it? This is a mess. That is rotating it. See, that is... what if we set that to be 0? I reckon we need to duplicate these. The mapping. I reckon the mapping, because that's not, the alpha's not being mapped correctly. So let's just duplicate those. Shift D, stick it down there. And where are we going? Do it to vector to vector. So if we were to rotate that on 90, and we were to rotate that on 90, what would that give us? Yeah, okay, so let's do it on 180. On 180. Maybe we want to do it on 270. Is 270 the same as minus 90? I think I said that before. 270. And 270. That's more like it. I wonder what the backside's doing. It's doing the right kind of thing, isn't it? Unfortunately, see, I don't know what that's doing in edit mode. I've got no idea why that just disappears. But I don't care. Move that a little bit. I just want to... You could rotate it. Oh, I'm not going to rotate it. I'm going to set origin to 3D. We don't want to do that. We want to do view. Align view. We want to put the cursor back into the middle. So center cursor and frame all. Oops. And then we want to snap the geometry to the cursor on that object. So snap set geometry to cursor, set origin to cursor. It's better. Okay. We could do with getting our tree back, couldn't we? So if we make our tree visible, okay, and that branch looks a little bit big, so we could scale it. So let's scale it down a little bit, maybe like that. Let's shift duplicate it. Let's rotate it on X and hold down Control. We want to get it about 90 degrees. Perfect. Let's see what that's looking like. Oh, it's so difficult to tell. Okay. It's interesting. Yeah, it's not too bad. We could do with rotating that around the Z-axis so that we could do is rotating that one. Could just do that in the view, I guess. Whoa, get off. Rotate, something like that. I think we changed to wireframe mode then. Yeah, looks alright. So we could scale those. Just going to scale them up a bit more. I think that's a bit weedy for leaves. Maybe something like that. Perfect. So let's go to our tree. Let's go to properties. We're going to add in a particle system to it. So down to particle system, hit the plus, hair, advanced. I'm going to set it for 250. Hair length 1 meter, segments 2, like that. We'll emit from the verts. We'll do rotation, and we'll do normal tangent. We'll randomize it a little bit. Render as an object. We will select this object. Actually, we want to join those together. So let's say none. See if we can do that. See if we can join the. See if we can join these together. So let's see if that's going to mess anything up. Object join. Doesn't seem to have done. So let's select our tree again. Render as object twigs and leaves. We could do with them being a bit bigger, couldn't we? The twigs and leaves are a bit on the small side. Have we done? Oh, we haven't done a density map yet for the tree, have we? We'll do that in a sec. Scale. So we'll make the scale a bit bigger. That's not bad. It's looking alright actually. So I'm going to say render as none for a minute, and then we're going to go back into weight paint mode, and I'm going to go to make sure you're on X-ray and wireframe. I'm going to go to gradient mode, and I'm just going to paint down the tree. Actually, I'm going to start there and paint down here, say like that, and then we can go into our data here and say we'll call this branches and leaves. So that's the density for our branches and leaves. So out of weight paint mode, we can go into object mode, that's fine. And if we go back to the particle properties, we can set it to object again. Scale down a bit, and we'll go to this one, branches and leaves. Okay, that's not looking too bad. How's that looking? Yeah, I'm not unhappy with that. It's kind of looking green, it's kind of looking leafy. Yeah. We could try object rotation. That looks a bit better, excuse me. Yeah. Let's go to the rotation. Scale randomness is good. Stick that on a bit. As is rotation. Randomizer phase. Yeah, we could do that. How are we looking? Do have some weird twiggies on the end. Excuse me. Just wondering if we can manipulate that a little bit. No, I don't think we can. There might even be an offset for the particles actually. Because that, look at that one right on the end of the branch. But we've got a seed value here, so we can mess around with the seed value until we get something we like. That's quite nice. So yeah, so I mean, I'd be prepared to go with something like that, see what it looked like, and import it in World. No, you can't do that actually. You can't import it because you have to select all these leafy things. You need to go to object, you need to go to apply, make instances real, and then you'd need to select just one of those, like that one, and then say object join. Whoa, I didn't expect it to do that. Let's Control Z that. Oh, I guess we must have our tree selected. Yeah, we've got, so we probably need to, let's hide that. Let's go into wireframe. so we can see what the hell we're doing. Just box select everything. Yeah, all of that stuff there. Don't want the lights. Don't want the tree trunk. Do want one of those. Okay, let's see what that did. That didn't go as I planned. Okay, that's kind of ballooned. Control Z. Object, maybe we can do apply all transforms. No, of course you can't. I had this issue before. I think we could do visual geometry to mesh. We could try it. Okay. Object, apply all transforms. Yeah, okay, that looks good. Let's try joining that now. So let's go wireframe, select everything, deselect lights, deselect the trunk, select one of these bad boys, object, join. No! That's still not very good. It's still giving us a massively stupid tree. Oh, I know why. Control Z that. It's cause we've still got our particle system on a tree. So just delete the particle system. And then try it. So B, deselect that, deselect those, and select one of those, object, join. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, that we may be seeing more of an artifact of our shader than anything else. I'm tempted to import that in World and see what that looks like. So, oh god, cool. Excuse me. Let's do file, export, Collada DAE. We'll do it into the texture folder. I'll call it new Blender Class 3 tutorial. No I won't, unless I type in the box. Can't type a toffee. New set it as static, say export Collada. Right. Let's see what that looks like when it gets imported. Back in a moment. Yep, so here we are at the sandbox. So let's go build, upload, mesh model, open, close. I'm going to call it new. No, I'm not. I'm going to call it new Blender tree. See if we can get the textures on it. Okay, looks half decent. Say calculate weights and fees. I'll pause this because it might take a minute. Okay, I think that's uploading. Might have to upload the textures in a minute. New Blender tree. Stick it in there. Doesn't look much to begin with at the moment, but that's because we need to upload the textures. So build, let's just set that to a blank material. If we can, blank, that's fine. So let's do build, upload, bulk, and we'll want our twigs and leaves, and let's have the bark as well. And we could also do the normal and specular, couldn't we? So normal and specular. So we'll say open those, upload. So those have uploaded. So let's do select the face. We'll do that one. And we'll give it the bark texture, not the normal. We'll give it the diffuse. We'll go for bumpiness. We'll go for the normal. And shininess, we'll go for the specular. Then select everything. Well, select the leaves. Back to texture. Twig and leaves. And yeah, there you have it. Okay, well, some of our textures were a bit messed up there. Don't know whether that's shadow or quite what that is. Let's try setting it to planar. Might help. Yeah, planar looks a bit better. Alpha blending, we could set those to planar too. Maybe not. Let's set them to default. Okay. So yep, there you have it. It kind of imports okay. It doesn't look too horrible. I think it was about 5 or 6 meg. So yes, thank you so much. Sorry it's been a bit long-winded yet again. I've coughed and hacked. And as I said before, do like and subscribe and comment and share. Take care. Till next time. Bye for now.